Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Keisha. As you can see from the title of this video is going to be about my labour and delivery story, and I hope you guys enjoy it as well. It all started, well, it was last year, November 2020, on the 3rd of November. Throughout my whole pregnancy I was pretty much having early nights most of the time, and I decided to go to bed, let's say around 8 p.m, 8:30 p.m, around that time. About 2 hours in of me sleeping, let's say it was about 10 o'clock at this time, I started to get these sensations in my tummy that was making me feel like I needed to go to the toilet. I kept getting up, going back and forth to the toilet. It was kind of like that feeling of, you know, when you have an upset tummy and you basically have like diarrhea or something like that and you constantly need to go to the toilet. That's the feeling that I was getting. It was like every 15 minutes or so, but I didn't think anything of it. I pretty much went through a couple of hours of that, I think up until maybe 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And then after a while it stopped and I was able to sleep. It's the morning time now. I woke up and I realised I was, I guess, leaking a bit. It was like clear fluid, but I didn't think anything of that either. I just thought maybe it was like pregnancy discharge, because those things happen when you're pregnant as well. So when I woke up, I spoke to my sister and other family members, and I mentioned of the fact of how I was feeling the night before and the clear discharge that I was getting as well. I was advised to contact my midwife, and I called the hospital, and then one of the midwife advised that I should come in so I can be checked over. One of the reasons why I feel like they also advised that I come in was because coming towards the ending of my pregnancy, I started to suffer with high blood pressure issues. I made my way to the hospital. My dad dropped me there. My fiance was at work at this time, so my dad helped me out and he took me to the hospital. He waited outside for me while I went in, obviously due to the pandemic, especially in the labour wards and stuff like that, anything to do with like pregnancy associated stuff. Nobody was allowed in there with you, even though things had started to change a little bit and they were starting to allow partners into appointments, but if it weren't appointment based, such as scans and stuff, nobody was allowed in. So I went in there by myself. They checked me over, and so what they done was they strapped me up to the machine. I guess anybody who's been through this before will know what I'm talking about with those belts, and they kind of like monitor the baby's movements and heart rate and stuff like that, just to make sure everything's okay with baby. Yeah, so they decided to do an internal check just to make sure everything was okay, and just to check to see if I was in labour at all. After the check, bearing in mind I haven't been feeling any forms of contractions or anything since, I guess, early hours of the morning. I pretty much wasn't really feeling anything at this point in time, but after the check, slowly contractions started to come on. It's like my body had been interfered with, so it started to bring the contractions on. After that, I also had to see the doctor from the blood pressure clinic. I had a scheduled appointment in for the next day, but they thought as I'm there, they may as well just check me over and let me know what my test results are and what they had come back as. I had my blood pressure taken by the midwife while she was monitoring me. I got monitored for about an hour or so, and my blood pressure was still high. When I went to see the doctors, they done my blood pressure as well. So within the time of me being there, I probably had my blood pressure taken about 5 or 6 times, and each time it just seemed to be getting higher and higher. It's like the more my body went into labour, the higher it was going. I saw the doctor, spoke with them. By this time I was getting contractions, and they were literally like, I feel like 10 to 15 minutes apart. Everything seemed to be fine. He was like, yeah, she's very low down. Her head was fully engaged. And then I'm trying to make sure that I remember everything. It's literally been 2 months since I gave birth to my baby girl, so I'm just trying to remember everything, and I'm trying not to forget anything during this, you know, about this experience. After that, because my blood pressure was not going down, the doctor said that they would like to induce me, and by this time it was the 4th of November. So they said they wanted to induce me in the morning, and they gave me the option of either staying in or leaving and going home. They were like, they would like me to stay so they can monitor me. At this point, I'm thinking I'm not going to be going into labour for now. I really don't want to stay in the hospital at this point. I've been having issues with my blood pressure I felt like for about a couple of days to a week, and you've been sending me home, so I'm thinking I'm gonna go home tonight, I'll be back in the morning, it's just a few hours. Yeah, by this time my contractions I felt like were about 6-7 minutes apart. It was getting closer together. The doctor goes to me, so what do you want to do? You're gonna stay, you're gonna go home? I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna leave. I was like, I've got things to do. Yeah, and then he's looking at me, and then he's smiling, laughing, and then I was just like, yeah, I've got stuff to do. I was like, so I'll be back in the morning. And bearing in mind, guys, when I left, I didn't go straight home. I was gallivanting all about town, basically. Yeah, most people, I guess, when they're getting contractions, they're going through labor, they just, I guess, want to be at home, laboring in peace, you know, making things happen. No, I was walking all about the street. I was up and down, going upstairs, doing this and that. I just had a lot of things to sort out at that point. While I was running these errands, I actually had my mum with me as well. So me and my dad went to pick my mum up so she could help me do what I needed to do. And each time I was getting a contraction, it was stopping, whether it was on the street, on the road, whatever it was, stopping so I can, you know, take my deep breaths and focus, you know. After that, we decided to go back home, and my mum came over as well, so she could help me through it, help me labour. By this time, my fiance, Joe, he had finished work, and he was back, so he brought us food. I thought I was going to be able to eat the food, but I actually wasn't. The contractions were irritating me so much, I wasn't even able to eat the food. I decided to go to my room. My mum came with me, and she was just there supporting me while I was having my contractions and everything, and she was timing them and monitoring them. At this point, my fiance was there, but to be honest, my dad was there as well, but they were just irritating me. I don't know what it was. Just them being there was just annoying me, and I just couldn't have them near me. The only person I could have near me that I felt like weren't bothering me was my mum. Yeah, it was just soothing and it was comforting just having her there. So my dad and Joe stayed in the front room for the duration of pretty much me having my contractions. Every now and again they would come and then they would check on us to see how we're doing. And then even the littlest thing that they would do, whether it was telling a joke, smiling at me, I would get mad. It would piss me off. I just couldn't, it was just something about them just being near me. Afterward, I decided to just stay out of the way, stay clear, and it was just me and my mum doing our thing. And every moment I was getting up, going to the toilet, coming back to the room, laying on the bed, then I'd be standing up, then I'd be walking around. I couldn't stay in one spot. I just felt irritated. As I said, that feeling of wanting to go to the toilet, guys, it was constant. Like, and when you have that feeling of wanting to go to the toilet, as any normal human being, you want to sit on the toilet. So that's what I kept doing, back and forth, to make myself feel better. After a while, I thought, okay, me sitting on the toilet is not helping me. This isn't doing anything. So I was just standing up, kind of moving and rocking and doing that. And then I'd be laying in the bed, and then at one point my mum was asked me, oh, you know, do you want me to rub your back or whatever? She tried rubbing me, and I was just like, no, I don't want you doing that. I didn't want anybody touching me. I know some people, when they're in pain, they want people to be rubbing them, whether it's their legs, it's their back, whatever. I didn't want anybody touching me at all. When I'm in pain, I just need everyone to just leave me alone so I can think and I can focus. Yeah? When I'm in pain, I have to focus. People touching me just irritates me. Just, yeah. I couldn't take it. So she decided to just, you know, support me, leave me there as I wanted, and she just kind of like just monitored my contractions as everything was happening. So now, a couple of hours have gone by. I'm guessing it may have been around 10, 11 by this time, and with each contraction I was noticing that they were becoming closer and closer together. So it went from being about, I'll say 5 to 6 minutes apart, to it becoming about 3 minutes apart, I would say. Yeah, so they started to become 3 minutes apart. And what we noticed was that I would get one big one, yeah, it would go away, and then 30 seconds later I'd get another one come back again, then that will go away, but it would be a smaller one. And then another 2 to 3 minutes later I'd have the big one, that would go away. 30 seconds later I'd have a small one. And then by the time it got to about after midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, we're noticing that it's getting even closer together now. And I just kept saying to my mum, This is just getting me mad. It's getting me mad. It's pissing me off because the feeling is just such an annoying feeling. I can't even describe it as pain because it wasn't so much pain. It was an irritating, annoying feeling. It was, it really was getting me mad. Even just thinking about it now, it was getting me mad. That feeling is horrible. So now the contractions seem like they were about a minute apart. And Mom was like, okay, these are getting really close now. And to be honest, it starts to get draining every minute going through this. So every time I'd get a contraction, obviously trying to breathe through it, as soon as it would stop, I would go back to sleep. That was basically the pattern that I was going through. And my mum decided, okay, these are getting close together. I think we should call the hospital. So we called the hospital, spoke to a midwife. To be honest, they could tell that I wasn't really ready to come in as of yet because of how I was. But due to the fact of my high blood pressure issues, they decided not to make me wait till the morning, and they advised that I come in straight away. So we drove to the hospital. Joe was going to be my labour partner. Mum and Dad went home. He waited downstairs while they checked me because they wanted to check to see if I was in active labour or not. If I was in active labour, he could stay. If I was not, then he would have to go home. So they put me into one of the examination rooms. The midwife checked me. When she checked me and then she told me, oh, you're only 1 centimetre dilated, I could not believe it, yeah? I was like, what? All of this for nothing? Yeah, I felt like I hadn't got nowhere. Obviously 1 centimetre is something. I've progressed. But I felt like I should have been a lot more further considering what I was feeling and how close together the contractions were. But no, I wasn't. So they messaged me and said, okay, you can tell your partner to go home. The midwife advised me that obviously if I don't go into active labour by myself by the morning, then they would still induce me and they would break my waters as well. I kind of just laboured through it throughout the night, done what I had to do, and when I had to get up to go to the toilet, had to be very strategic about it. So each time I'd get a contraction, I knew I would have the small one not long after, so I would have to wait until that contraction finished, and then I'd quickly rush and hurry to the toilet, and then I knew it would happen while I was in the bathroom as well, so I'd have to go through the course of me getting the contractions, and I'd have to rush back to the bed. But they were so close together at a certain point. It's like the duration of how much they were apart kept changing. 1 minute it would be really close, next minute it would be quite far apart. And I didn't know what I was working, so each time I had to just move as quick as I possibly can, because sometimes it could go up to 5 minutes where I didn't get one, and then sometimes it's like every 30 seconds it would constantly change. And then it got to the morning. And also a bit of information as well, guys, they also supplied me with some blood pressure tablets as well to bring my blood pressure down, just in case I didn't mention that, which I don't think I did. It was morning time. I took my next blood pressure tablet. They also offered me some breakfast, see if I wanted anything to eat as well while I was there. The midwife came round and she checked me to see if I had dilated at all. When she checked me, I was 4 centimetres, so I was officially in active labour, which I was so happy about. And then I decided to call Joe, and then I let him know, okay, you can come now. By this time, I think it was maybe around 8 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, it was about 8 o'clock in the morning. They were allowing visitors, partners to come from around 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. on the wards now. But because I was in active labour, he was able to come in earlier now. So they moved me to the delivery room, and when I got there, they had the gas in there, everything ready, because I'd already decided that's something that I would definitely be taking. So I had that, and then within like 5 minutes of me being in the room, Joe came. It just felt good now that it was there. I was no longer alone. I wasn't by myself. The contractions obviously started to get closer and closer together. They started to get stronger. As I said, it was more of an annoying feeling more than anything else. It still wasn't unbearable for me. That's how I felt anyway. I was up and down, 1 minute on the bed, next minute on the ball, rocking and all of that stuff. Then I was in the toilet. It was just a constant back and forth for me. I just couldn't stay in one place. But then it got to a point where I was just like, I feel like if I stay on this bed, I may not be able to get off. And I was thinking I want to be in the most upright position possible when giving birth. I just didn't want to be laying down. So as long as I could stay on that ball, I would. And it came a certain point where it just felt better when I was having the gas and air being held for me and I could just suck on it. It just made it feel so much better. And there were certain points where Joe was leaving the room and then the midwife was holding it for me, and it was just putting me at ease. It was just making me feel good. And you know what, guys, to be honest, they came round with food while I was in labour, and I didn't expect to be able to eat, because when I was in early labour I wasn't able to eat when I was at home. But believe it or not, after each one, so I had the food there, Joe was feeding me, yeah, and after each contraction I was eating food, yeah. So as it would stop, I would eat. If it would happen as I was chewing, I would stop, breathe a bit, continue eating. So the contractions are just getting stronger and stronger. I'm going back and forth from the toilet and everything like that. And then because technically, guys, I technically been in labour since the 3rd of November. Right now it's basically the 5th of November. So it would have been coming on to almost 48 hours that I would have been in labour. And I was thinking, okay, we want to get things sped up a bit. So what the midwife decided was to break my waters in hopes that it would speed everything up. So she broke my waters. Everything didn't change that much. It sped up maybe just a tiny bit. And then she checked me to see how far gone I had gone. And by this time, hours had gone by. It was maybe all around 4 or 5 p.m. And when she checked me, I just got to 5 centimeters. I was thinking, and imagine, guys, from around 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, I was 4, and in all those hours I had just gone 1 centimeter. So after that, she decided that, okay, you've broken your waters, it's been a couple of hours as well, you know, you haven't got that far. So she decided, okay, let's she asked me if I wanted to get oxytocin. It's basically an injection that they give you. So they put the cannula in your hand, and it's like connected to like the IV, and it's going into you, and it's basically a fluid that helps speed up contractions. It makes them come more frequently and more strong as well. So they gave me that, and that pretty much worked instantly. Then after a while she decided to bring it down because the contractions were coming very, very fast and strong. But by this time it was just making me feel like I just needed to be on the toilet constantly. So Joe and the midwife helped me, walked me to the toilet. Yeah, because I'm feeling like I need to go toilet, but obviously I don't. It's just the feeling that I'm getting. But I was weeing and stuff like that though. But for some reason, whenever I went wee, it was helping the relief of the contraction. It was making everything feel better down there. And I came back out, I was sitting on the ball, I was like rocking on the ball. And then I think I was about to have a contraction, and then Joe went to go and get the gas and air so he could give it to me. And then I was just like, don't touch me. Then he was like, babe, I didn't even touch you, I'm just getting the gas and air for you. For some reason I felt like he touched me at that point. But I was so irritated, and the pain was just so annoying, yeah? I didn't want him touching me. It's just, oh God, I felt, yeah. It's just the thought of it even. I know people say once it's over you forget. I will never forget. I will never forget that and how that felt. After that, the midwife was like to me, okay, let's get you up on the bed so we can check you. I was thinking, oh no, I really don't want to get on the bed. Because I've heard once you get on that bed, you are not getting off. And what happened? Once she checked me, I couldn't get off the bed. So she checked me and she's like to me, you're just 6 centimeters dilated. By this time, it was about 8:20, 8:30 p.m. I screamed. I was like, what? Yeah, I was like, no. I was like, I need the epidural. I need the epidural. And then she was just like, and then Joe was just like, no, babe, you can't have it. You can't have it. And then I was just like, what do you mean? I was like, I want it. I need it. I can't do this anymore. It had just been going on for so long. And it was, as I said, it wasn't so much the fact that it was painful. So what was happening by this time, yeah, when she decided to check me, I started to have this feeling of that my vagina and my ass was being ripped apart, literally. So when she checked me, I thought she was gonna say, you're ready to push or something, but no, she's telling me that you're just 6 centimeters dilated. I was just like, wow, I was like, no, I need the epidural. I can't do this. I really cannot do this. And then obviously while I was having every time I was having that contraction of being ripped apart down there, literally my body, I was turning in all different directions and everything. The feeling was just uncontrollable, and every time I would have one of those contractions, guys, I was growling. Before, I wasn't making any noises. It was just pretty much me just breathing through it. But once I was getting those, I didn't even know I could even make those kinds of noise. I didn't even know it was even possible. And the funny thing was, guys, I wasn't even, I felt like it was, I didn't even have no control over the noises that I was even making. I had no control of it whatsoever. As each contraction was coming, my body was automatically making those noises. I had no control over it. Like it was crazy. I had no control of it. Literally, my body was, as I said, I was growling. My voice box felt like it was getting mashed up. And then I got Joe and the midwife telling me, suck on the gas in there, that's what it's there for, that's what it's there for. I'm just like, shut up, don't tell me what to do. Because when you get to that stage, yeah, of when you feel like you're being ripped apart, guys, no matter what you do, no gas in there is going to help you at that point. I'm telling you, it's not going to help. And when you're feeling that kind of pain, the only thing you can actually do is make noise. Literally, that's all you can do is make noise. Sucking on the gas in ain't gonna help. And furthermore, gas in air doesn't take away the pain. It's just something there so you can focus your mind on something else. It's to refocus your mind. That's basically what it's there to, so you're not focusing on what you're feeling. And by then, the pain was so intense, there was no way I could focus on sucking on anything. It wasn't even possible. And each time I tried, it was just like, no, all I could do was growl. So that's what I did. I'm telling her that I want the epidural. She's like to me, okay, gonna call the anesthesia, see what they say, all of that stuff. I think they come, she speaks to them, they're just like, okay, we're gonna see if we can try and give it to her. But I think they knew that they weren't gonna give it to me, because guys, I was moving all about the place. And when Joe decided that he was gonna call my mum and say, oh, Keisha wants the epidural, I don't think she should have it because she's moving too much and all of that kind of stuff, he's like, I really don't think she should have it. And then my mum was just like, oh, obviously my mum didn't think I should have it either, because she's not an advocate for that. She doesn't believe in getting the epidural unless it's really necessary. So she was just like, obviously we're not the ones feeling what she's feeling. She's the one going through it, and she's been in labour for a very long time now. You know, it's whatever she wants. And obviously she wasn't there with me, so she could only really, like, I guess, go by what Joe was telling her. And obviously in his mind he was just like, no, she's moving too much. This would be disastrous if she ever got the epidural, because she wouldn't be able to sit still to even get it done. And obviously he was right. And when you're in that frame of mind, guys, you really cannot even think properly for yourself. So I'm just thinking, it doesn't, do you know what? It's like I was thinking straight, but I wasn't. I knew I was moving too much, so this wouldn't be safe. But at the same time, with the feelings that I was getting, I didn't care. So it's almost like the feeling that you get can make you make bad decisions and put your life at risk, because it's so unbearable, basically. Although I don't, even if they weren't there, I don't think the midwife would have allowed me to have it, because she knew I was moving too much and I was incapable of even keeping still at that point each time I got one of those contractions. So now I was just like, I started to scream, and I was just like, it's pushing. Yeah, I was like, it won't stop, my body keeps pushing. And then she's like to me, she's like, okay, well, try not to, because from the last time she checked, I was only 6 centimeters dilated, so can't be pushing. That would be very dangerous. So she was like to me, okay, please try not to. I was like, I can't, it's doing it itself. Yeah, I can't control it. So I was saying that to her, and once I said that, she was like, okay, once I started to say I can't control it, it's doing it itself. And I kept saying the same thing, my body keeps pushing, it keeps pushing. So I kept saying that to her. And by this time, guys, it just hadn't even been 20 minutes yet. And I think Joe had spoken to my mum around 8:30 at the time that I said that I wanted the epidural. So the midwife decided to check me again. And when she checked me, lo and behold, guys, I was 10 centimeters dilated. So literally within 20 minutes, I jumped from 6 to 10. It was that fast. And then she was just like, honey, I think I've got a bit of good and bad news. Yeah, she's like, you're 10 centimeters dilated, so we can't give you the epidural. I was like, what? Yeah. Because all that was going through my mind, guys, at that point, yeah, was that I've watched so many labour and delivery videos where people are pushing for ages, and I just know so many people, as soon as they reach the 10 centimeters, it doesn't mean the baby's coming anytime soon. So all I was thinking is, I'm going to be laying here with this pain of being torn apart for how much longer? I don't even know. Yeah? And that thought just upset me, and then I just burst into tears. I started crying. I was just like, no. I was like, I really want it. And I don't know what they were thinking at that point when I started crying. Because throughout this whole point, I think I was doing pretty well, to be fair. But hearing that I couldn't have the epidural, that started to make me cry. I could feel the contraction coming back again, and then I started to feel like I was being torn apart. And then I started to growl, yeah. And as I was growling, baby girl's head popped out. Yeah, and then a contraction literally came within less than 10 seconds later. Baby girl's body popped out. Yeah, so it was nothing like what I thought it was even going to be. Guys, I didn't even have to push. I didn't push. My body done it all itself. My body just delivered my baby girl. I feel like she was pushing down herself. It's crazy because I didn't even expect to have an experience like that. I thought it was going to be a lot more traumatic, a lot more harder, but to say the least, guys, I felt like I had a really good labor. Yes, it was long, but the contractions itself weren't, for me, extremely painful. It was just more uncomfortable more than anything else. It was just when I was getting close to that stage of pushing, and I guess my baby girl pushing more further down and getting that feeling of ripping, that's what caused me the most pain more than anything else. That's what I would say. As soon as her head popped out, the midwife was just like, oh my god, and then she had to like quickly get ready into position. Then baby girl's body came out straight afterwards, and she started cleaning her up and everything, and she was crying. She came out loud, screaming, crying straight away. She started rubbing her down, and she gave me her, obviously I was in the hospital gown. I just lifted up my gown, and then she gave me my baby. I put her inside my gown, and then I was just holding her. Guys, it was just such an amazing experience. Joe didn't even get to see her basically be born, because you're expecting someone to be like, okay, you're ready to push now, let's push. I didn't even go through that, guys. I basically skipped all of that, and I was just hugging her, and she was just screaming her head off, crying. Oh god, it was just such an amazing experience. It was just such a good feeling. Yeah, and then Joe got to cut the cord. I've got little clips here and there. I'm not too sure if I'm going to insert them in this video or not. It's just such a, yeah, I'm not too sure. Cause I didn't even share my whole labour. I'm not even labour, my whole pregnancy journey with you guys. To be honest, I feel like it's because we was in a pandemic and there was a lot that I went through, so that's not something I wanted to share. And I always thought I would be the kind of person that would want to share my whole journey, but when life happens, it can change your perspective on things and what you really want to share, basically. So it kind of changed my mind of what I wanted to share with everybody. Yeah, so Joe got to cut the cord, and then afterwards he got to hold her, and he was doing skin to skin with our baby girl. Oh, it was such an amazing feeling. Oh god, even just to watch and see him holding her. Yeah, guys, oh god, it was amazing. And then we got to stay in that room for quite a while as well after we gave birth. She was born as well at 8:50 p.m. So literally 20 minutes after I was told I was 6 centimeters dilated, my baby girl was born. Her name is called Anea. Yeah, it's a biblical name as well. The name means God answers. We chose that name. We have a very good reason why we chose that name. I may make a video about that, not sure. But yeah, it was special to us. That's why we chose that name for her. And we feel very blessed. Our baby girl is blessed. and we're extremely happy. But yeah guys, that's my labor and delivery story. Please feel free to comment down below, subscribe, like, share. Yeah, I hope to see you guys in my next video. Take care. Bye.